For Madam Assessor Munya Dajina Moshe Dazi TV. And anyway, same be a mate and I'm a pese if I can away sooner, but Shiramatri at Ewohon. And ye be but I think that I just want to express my opinion about certain things at Akosua or my Ghana Mehasi. Now, answer na mekoso akama asem no. I want to assure all my viewers and my followers say this issue no, I am not going to sleep. I don't have a capacity to initiate any legal process because I'm not a party. I'm not directly a party to any other suit that I can take the opportunity to do that. 2, as far as I'm concerned, I will never stop talking about this till justice is served, till send no credible daddy. In TV, the same way, every single day I'll revisit it because I believe that you better come on one case and throw na mukucha no crampono. I bet you have money so. In time for saying any munchaso na fi see any penavium since there be much and throw no jacuzzi and penavi. Yes, my man for so no crano. So anytime probably see a video like that, say come have not because of say anything, but we just want you guys to know that yeah ma entrono emedin kunim emma no kreno enkwashafo ne Ghana forces say umuhu and the whole world what they are supposed to know. We are going to do that, and whoever is requesting that we should stop talking about this, we're only going to stop talking about when we get to know that the rightful person need any ubu said my mami Akosua Serwaa before we stop this. So if you think you are going to stop all this discussion and everything, please, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is not ending soon. In fact, prepare yourself. I feel the Jana cried eba. I feel na yedi revelations na de na deba. Man who say montra them go try no. And from good baby. 2, I deba kuna mesua. Me pese ene na meka say mesua bibi. But yamsi anka no kre. Entro try nya dwuma kitwa o. Hey. If you know who you try and throw I will respect that person. Not to sound sarcastic anyway. Because for somebody to sit down want to plan, say, make can say, put him side in pan, could try and throw pan idea, I sound to say in a chrono. You must be a good liar to do that. You must be a good person to do that, because for you to lie, for your lie to be accepted as the truth, then you must be a good person, to be honest with you. So if you think that well to me I could try and trauma and try by any crack and then yenja seven can yenja seven can Yamamia Akosua Serwaa for or no, and he didn't. And this or no baby and another catches me cheat out for Miss Serwaa. We are fighting for me, but in GD said Nedry, I think that I just want to bring closure to this whole issue. So Miss Serwaa, Nyakaina and Munjaina Manyamia, and one no. Me, I will not talk about it again. I will respect her decision and everything. But so far as I'm concerned, I believe that she deserved the justice. She deserved the truth. So I am only going to support her to do the right thing so that she will enjoy her life. 2, I've seen so many social media posts criticizing the woman for allowing someone, and my kind several times he said that was a bad decision. Woman take here, yeah, Mami Akosua Serwaa because we did say quality of age, and the mere fact says she's having issues does not mean that they should prevent his own children from seeing their dad for the last time, even though she doesn't agree to the data. In fact, she was not even informed. According to Papa Shino, ya mwana mania crisis and Cosina ye crisis said book could be seen and it's sad. Say a man for Mudi Abusuapanin any other part in each Nimpanon same worker kind previously no. Nay, as me see and Abuhuns indeed. And then some kind and one he's living to his own word. But I know as I be the other parties in the moment you near and why I dare to can good in Pacon anymore say. I will be a madada, Sebi, Obi any year 4, and Obi any year 3. Ye 9 in year 2. Momoko, a ho, a year national, Obi any year 2. So one quantity year 4 there, I don't know. In your own narrative, no better try to create it. And a mama for whom say yen say we saw it. It was live on television. Some of us did not even follow, but later part of it, we saw the videos and everything, the reviews, and everybody will tell you that that was a flop funeral at the highest level to the person of Charles Kojefosu. So I think that was very sad for the Lumba family, and I feel sorry for those who did not get the chance, those who were a rightful person to have access to the place I'm going to me uncle. By me, Pam. Sabi bisa bit my day apaso na hula nso di nsem betuja ewo Neat FM am jidi a piece of cry and discuss about it. Hula will never speak out of vacuum. He has his source, and I believe him that he will not come out to say anything say webo butrimuka abejina FM station like Neat FM despite media group abejina abe kan some to say maybe some no kind maybe a one in your dream fair enough. Of course, and now send a piece of entertainment review. MC Yabwa and I host issue on the Kojo King. And I like the Kojo King's submission of make here. Of course, you have already taken an entrenched position. MC Yabwa, we know your stance already. So if you have some doubt about some of the things that Ulama Kekaina, you have every right to doubt it because you already know your stance. There's no way you say you agree with him completely because you know where you are coming from. So if you disagree with me, I think that it's a right way to do that. For me, I've always said that you just have to be frank and honest in terms of your approach and everything. But what I can tell you is that don't let anybody deceive you. And 2, don't go and lie. I've seen a caption, but I haven't opened the link to watch. Say, I saw it, I think in Venice, there's a lady in Kumasi, a woman in Kumasi or grantee, Roman father said, or Doboni, Nihunam no Huna as too young, but it doesn't reflect on his age. That is the title though. But I do not even bother myself to waste my data to even click on the video to watch. But if based on the title, which I know the person is a journalist, I'm not sure she will put misleading title over there. There was something that can say, you can lie about everything, but you can never lie about your age. Look, with me control we are seeing but won't fear dear, won't mean control that my mention wide. Meti hey, I have classmates. Look, Meti hey, I have classmates. I'm in your mishasi in year, I will crash in one. We be her crumple your woman and chebiana. It be a tired and a woman. I did see any woman powerful. Just in the Pacono bomb, so just it be a 2-3 days pay. It be the make because the back would be a minimum, or no? May change just 2 months pay because I didn't know. By a way, and a year in a boom, no father catch him so, 1 month later, and a year way pay. So such a person is alive. I had classmates, I have friends. Anina, that time you Susani now, you did bed those 85 years, 6 years, 7 years. Nene. My chance I see me 25 years. What do you think will happen? They will tell you that yes, a lie. It is a make what team ages, so do we come home and it sounds to be a meaning for some people to see. I remember I said those people they know. And these are people who come out to expose you. So those of you are trying to allocate a specific age to that lady. Say she's 41, she's 40. She's 38, she's that. Remember, she grew up with people. And those people are still alive. And they can testify. And I'm not surprised that or any other information leading to getting to know the real age of that lady, they have already blocked it. At some point, Crampo, it's okay. I don't want to go further. Because you guys are scared. You have seen the video going viral. And that is it. So please, I want you guys to know that you can never lie because it is not good. One day, that lies will you'll be exposed. The expose you are and obey say uneya we no and the wow. So this evening man share that and that those threats. Some people are receiving some threats, and Ulema can ask more kind say you are not pitching Yamami Akosua so no sanema against it for what? We frame me catch him say what to say I must say Yami had my Saturday that my man be call UTV and I'm say whoever is watching me, to be honest, who is watching me and whoever is manipulating these children, if the information that I heard is true, which I'm here to verify, please, somebody told me, but I'm yet to place a call to find out if indeed it is true or not. Say Yami had my Saturday almost say Ombeko United Showbiz akoda Ghana for inasi. And ye the money ni will be hey. Look, Mom will say Chiramo yes I didn't. And I'll be commenting, may you as I say, that will be so on die. The best one died in a booth. No, high. Now, I'll see a so on die. No, high. That's my cat Akosua and a body ding, or Akosua ding. But Akosua no bono. No, I just Akosua bring poor man as Akosua say one and all body. The person tested me and said that to me. Let me see, okay. You see, some people, it could be true. Nimpa na obo ndikas mo we mfi ni da no. We we afi no sabe mo tete no. Enti send me can please. I want to choose my words carefully. I said somebody told me that Onwati said omo pese that Lumba money Yami had my Saturday United Showbiz. Omoko na koda Ghana fo ase. E ko kan mo nsem ho. Afide ne edu no. That's where you have got into, right? They should go ahead and do it. Then Mobi will have access to this children now. Mobi can be influential. And I come to ask of it. That Lumba, the firstborn, Calvin. How old is Calvin? They got married in 1991. So Calvin will be around 33, let's say 32, 33 there. Do you know how old is Denise? Denise also, Calvin is almost older than Denise, I think a year or two. But Denise is not a daughter of Yami Akosua. How did that Lumba give birth to Denise? Whilst no very that's at 1991. Mabagan Habaye Akosua. Some of you don't know anything. Denise, ne Mamenko. Akosua Serwaa, Yami Akosua. The firstborn. With that Lumba no, Calvin changed Denise some almost a year or two. And he about saying that Lumba second born a year oba, but oba no from a different woman. But then no about worrying Yami Akosua 1991 ewa. Answer year old Calvin. Obey no one dear hands year old Calvin, which means no worry Yami Akosua pet. But a banisen and Denise, your bano, your penny na one memuno. Calvin Chen Kakrebi said, Banisen call. You guys don't know what this woman has gone through. The silence, me, I'm praying for her to write that book. And Ghanaians are ready to support her. And it's something that will be in the pipeline. How come? So we'll be over in 1991. I won the firstborn Calvin. But that Lumba second born is from a different woman, Denise. For me, I'm not even surprised that she was the one who was announced who should come, and then I said, of course. And so you won't enter that Lumba, near that mommy, no, right? Denise, and Yami Akosua Serwaa. Into Bansen Denise Belmo, different woman. By that time, this man was married to Yami Akosua Serwaa. Go and sit down and think about it. And that is when they got married, 1991. They gave birth to your friend Calvin, 1992, 1993, they're about that time. His second born of that Lumba is from a different mother. Have you asked yourself that? So if we were to be the wife even at that time, she didn't even give up. Or one. Young Consemu, you don't need to talk that much. So you should all deduce it yourself and know that. And those of you who are criticizing Yami Akosua was one year, chill. It was one of the best decisions She has taken so many decisions that sometimes it does not sit well with some people, but that is the best ever. And one of them is what she did for not coming for the funeral, because of Baya. No one pony. And in this one by idea. I don't know whether we can even guarantee her safety. But thank God she didn't come. And any decision you be taking be me supporting. And I know she will never take any bad decision because she's a woman and she's a woman of virtue. Will be an end home. Now, and then in social media, and so I'm going to brand TV, a friend Kofi. The guy is a very good writer. He's a journalist. And in some be already, I think say we really be at the mamma. You really appreciate it. This is not a bias. This one coming from a very neutral person. In some be or Troy, I will try and put it on the screen so that we can read together. Okay. The title, no, or yeah, and say, bones or the picture. We picture on whose screen is in there. Or say a sick man, a 17-year-old household, a missus of 34-year marriage, an opportunistic Abusuapanin, my final say. Inti ono, ena or the two screen so no. Inti momodena mi readi kakra and famamu. Na mijidi say nsam no twerɛ wɔ mu no. It's very profound statement. Be a Kofi Chei, I don't know friend Kofi Kofipedia, yes, Kofipedia, yeah. Kofi Chei and Kofipedia. It's a very good writer. And in some your try, I believe say when I read it, you guys will understand some point. He's a journalist, seasoned journalist. I believe that there's information behind me. I don't know. So let me read or say a sick man, a 17-year-old house help, a missus of 34-year marriage, an opportunistic Abusuapanin, my final say. Or say, let me start. My last combo rant. It's long and contains all I think about this matter. Some will hate me for this. Look, hate me more for not being able to say when I step down. When it deep down, I know it be for my own good. Then he started by saying that how it started. I want to take my time and read it. But I will try my best and put it on the screen as well. So the story out there is that Daddy Lumba was sick in Germany and decided to seek a medical solutions in Ghana. He told his wife, but she refused to come with him. And he was left to his misery to find solutions alone. There stepped in a young lady who stood by him through the difficult moment until she found a favor in the eyes of the legend and usurped the man. Some even claim that she cleaned his shit. All that. In essence, Lumba was literally bedridden, immobile, and had lost control of his nerves to the point that he could not control his... I don't want to pronounce that. It's true that health issues played a role in Lumba's relocation to Ghana. Lumba left Germany to live in Ghana on medical grounds. A close source has confirmed it. According to the source, when Lumba had his spinal problem, the medical remedy in Germany was surgery through the throat. The effect was that he could lose his voice. Note that he was going to be dumb, but there was a big chance of considering voice change. Lumba opted against that because his voice is everything and hence sought medical solutions in Ghana. The part that Lumba being unwell is true. My issue here is that I will come to my issue later. Let's focus on the matter. Down, he started by saying Odobroni. So let's listen to what he wrote about Odobroni. Throughout these Lumba issues, I've taken position not to say anything negative about Odobroni. This is because I've always thought her to be a victim. When a man like that Lumba gets involved with a girl like Odobroni and you think the problem is Odobroni, there's a problem with how you are looking at the issue. From our calculations, she was 17 when she moved to live with Lumba, a very tiny 17-year-old girl standing before a legendary musician with a huge influence. Power play comes in here. She lacked the experience to know the effect of her actions, and in most cases, the courage to reject a man. People try to make it look like love, but when you check the images carefully, you realize that she was in what looked like an abusive relationship. Lumba didn't always look at her with love. He sometimes looked at her like an abusive father, and she responded like a child who had suffered the same. I've seen a video in which Lumba gave an eye, and she was literally looking for a place to hide. That's not love. It's the reason I know the tribute and the overemphasis on the supposed love shared was a lie. That girl was a slave in that house. Maybe with time, especially at the final stage of Lumba's life, he realized there was no going back to his wife, and so decided to give the woman who murdered more than 50 of his children same respect in public. It is also the reason when people call her a sick side chick, slave queen, or make any other derogatory reference, I think they have been unfair. She was Lumba's slave, unquote. For the most part, of elevated at the latter part. Were they married? That's a question for another day. I've already given an opinion about that marriage. No matter which side you belong to, once you see any of the women involved as a problem, we're simply excusing the real problem. Lumba was the problem. I think for this one I've said it several times. The problem was the man. But he's loved by many. People love him. Even when you are telling people the truth, they will still come out to deny it because they love him. They don't want to drag his name. Having said that, Lumba could not have been sick for 17 years and made 6 babies while dealing with a spinal issue. Everyone is exaggerating for that client. 17 years ago, Lumba was on the campaign trail with Nanado. Nanado campaign trail was 2008, 2016. I remember Lumba, Nana is a winner, he was on stage performing, so how can that person in a bedridden? Okay, so it was around the period when they sank Nana a winner. He must have had his health issues, but he wasn't half dead like we make it seem. And if his case was that grave, he wouldn't have required a 17-year-old girl. He could have employed a proper professional. Clearly, the man needed basic helping hand. Unfortunately, he took advantage of her vulnerability. That lady has suffered. She lost her youth, a prime as young lady, to an older man who saw her as a baby-making machine, and when she was on the verge of ending proper recognition, the man died. Akosua Serwaa. Now he's done with Doboni, so he's now come to talk about Akosua Serwaa. And this is what he wrote about Mami Akosua Serwaa. The woman who stood by you from the beginning, who contributed to your career right from the onset, the one you saw fit to marry after years together, won't wake up overnight to become a woman who stays away from you at the greatest time of need. There's more to this issue you may never know. What you do know is that Akosua Serwaa was never a monster. Lumba owes his success largely to her. She was in the country at the death of Lumba's mother. Why would she deliberately miss Lumba's funeral if she didn't have a reason? Look at the whole funeral setup. Look at the conduct of the MCs and the tribute read by her rival. With the level of division, it was only right that she stays away. This is the issue many refuse to accept. No woman married under monogamy would gladly share her position with another woman. We have no idea how many times she complained to Lumba about his relationship with Odoboni, or to the extent to which it affected her. Put yourself in his shoes. You married a man. You all started from nothing. Sadly, there's a woman in the picture, a trophy woman whom your husband flaunts in public. You view her as a home breaker, a major cause of your misery. Sadly, everyone expects you to act cool, accept her as your co-wife, and live happily ever after. It is silly to expect a seamless switch like that. Akosua Serwaa did what a legal wife would do under the same circumstance, unless she was talked out of it. It's not easy to accept the woman to whom you lost the love of your life, more so one over 30 years younger. Come on, yeah, Mami Akosua is 61 years. But the brother is not even up to 35 or 36 if I stand to be corrected. If to all things being equal. I believe the excuse that Akosua Serwaa could not come to Ghana was due to the kit and mortgage obligations. She couldn't travel down once every year to attend to Lumba along with the kit, like Lumba, but Like, Lumba couldn't afford plane ticket for 4 every year or 2. It is not true. There's more to it. Something went wrong with the marriage at a point. In spite of all this, she never made it public to shame the man. She kept this dignity until his death. All she wants is her own dignity as a duly married wife in a monogamous marriage. She's not an evil. This is what brings me to the man whose failure led to this circles. Abusuapanin Tupac. Then he came to Abusuapanin Tupac. I've said enough about this man. I'm not really adding much, with the exception that he seems happy that Lumba died. Sometimes people think I'm being harsh on him, but let's ask ourselves, who made the funeral a thing for the media engagement? Even at the funeral, while Lumba was yet laid in state, this man was granting interviews to bloggers. At the funeral grounds, he was announcing after party right there. After, he set up a Tupac movement. His body language has been infuriating. He has demonstrated the worst example of how an Abusuapanin should behave. No wonder all those who supported him are supporters of Odobroni. The man simply found the weakest spot where he could have his way, and how easy it was doing it through the woman whose marriage had its legitimacy challenged. If you understand the concept of divide and rule, you realize that the man did what is not a response to anything gone wrong. He was happy to see things go wrong, which is why he did little to fix it. All this is possible because then he comes back to Daddy Lumba. It's obvious that people can say wise stuff all the time and act foolishly more often. The experiment of philosopher Socrates was to test how wise people were relative to the things they say, to the thing they said, and he realized that some of the most foolish were the acclaimed wise ones. Same applies to Lumba. The man sang about family, love, and how he didn't want a situation where after his death the story would be terrible. Yet he had several opportunities to make things right and failed to do so. He had opportunity to end his marriage with Serwaa, but failed to do so, and even denied the woman a request for freedom when he asked to be divorced. For a musician, Lumba remains Ghana's finest. As a person, he was not the best example. He escaped blame while alive, but his death brought everything to light. Indeed, we never thought him to be an angel at a point in his career. Him being a womanizer shouldn't be surprising anyone. In any case, I'm even surprised the woman aren't more, so I'm not judging him on quantity. My issue is, for someone like Lumba with a plethora of women at his neck and core, including mature, rich women, what did he see in the 17-year-old girl? However, for 17 years, no one can tell me Lumba was sick, bedridden, or pooping on himself. Lumba was so broke 17 years ago that on his sick bed, the best source of care was 17-year-old girl with zero experience in caregiving. Cut us some slack. A lot of lies have been told. Lies about his dependency on his first wife, as though there was no point in his career when he was financially stable. It's a lie. Lumba, since at least 1990, has been one of the Ghana's finest musicians. That should count for something. That should not diminish the role Akosua played. However, in touting the woman's contribution, we shouldn't make it look like he was consistently poor guy feeding off her. Now the funeral. Let me come to the funeral that he said. Or say, I firmly believe that Abusuapanin had an interest in the funeral, and to me, it's financial. Look, when he called the judge to reconsider the costs incurred, the man actually told the court he wanted 5 million cedis to take care of the costs incurred in organizing the funeral. We all saw the funeral and organization at the venue. It was never befitting of a man like Lumba, and it was never anything close to multiple million cedis worth. He didn't chase unity and instead insisted on the 13 without consensus because it will protect him from accountability. When people want autopsy and you insist on burying the dead, you give room for speculation as to what you are hiding. In the end, key people who deserve to mourn the dead were alienated, and yet man celebrated each passing minute as a victory objectives achieved. The 14th March funeral for the other family is fair. The man may not be laid in state, but they will find their own closure. Until then, we can end the Lumba issue here. We need not to dwell much on the decision of the children to be part of their dad. At a point, a child's relationship with their dad is not determined by their mother's relationship with the dad. They are adults, and the right to catch a final glimpse of their dad. Closure is important, and such moment cannot be reproduced. I wish it was conducive for all involved. It wasn't. For the first time, we had a man whose 1 week saw a lot more people attended, more dignitaries attended than his funeral. Says a lot about the funeral end. So this is from Kofipedia. That is from, he just wrote this piece, and I think when you go to the comment section, people are expressing their opinion about that. And this evening I decided to share what he wrote, so that you know what I'm talking about. For I just want guys to know that we are not going to stop supporting Akosua Serwaa. We are not going to do that. If you think we are going to do that, please just forget about it. We are not going to stop till justice is served. And I believe that Akosua Serwaa become victorious very soon. There's more coming. Just stay tuned.